Highquad was a Tencent-backed psyops. Yeah, I'm kind of shocked, but not that shocked at the same time. So, all this time we have thought that AAA development does not learn a single thing, that they just keep doing the same mistakes. And while that is true because they are stupid and incapable and incompetent and many things even worse than that, they turns out do in fact learn a bit. And that is the fact that gamers hate AAA currently. If I hear the name AAA development, I get furious. I get mad. I am not happy, and I kind of want to avoid it. And these people have figured this out. So now, these new studios that want to fill up the void of slop with their own shitty brand of slop, because let's be real, they're never gonna not make slop. They are pretending to be indie development studios. Like, turns out Highquad was. Highquad's story that literally, by the way, not a single person cared about, because I thought that they have financial backing. I thought that maybe the developer's like a rich person, a multi-billionaire like Steve Sharif. That was a bad joke. I apologize, but not really. We love good jokes here, but not bad ones, okay? I thought that they had some kind of financial backing, and I think every single person thought the same thing, because they came out of nowhere. They're at the Game Awards, you know, that chill contest, and their game looks just like your typical AAA slop to begin with. I never really questioned the fact, is it an indie development? I kind of assumed it was AAA, but turns out these guys had a story that they are actually indie development. Oh, they're self-funded, they're a grassroots organization. Yeah. Surprise, surprise, turns out Tencent's backing them up, which is hilarious. And this was a secret that some kind of journalist uncovered. So props to the original journalist who uncovered it, but IGN probably already stole your claim to fame, so yeah, this is why journalism is falling apart, you know? One journalist actually does a good job at something, and his name is going to be instantaneously forgot and abandoned in history because IGN and slop like PC Gamer decided to also rehash that article. It's disgusting and stupid, okay? If I am a YouTuber, it is my rightful birthright to rehash things in my own words and steal content. I'm a React channel at the end of the day. Okay, I was born and raised by it. IGN merely adopted it. In any case, Tencent was quietly backing Highquad Studio according to report. The studio has been fully funded since 2022, which does seem kind of about right in my opinion. But again, I never actually thought about this. I think most people just were like, I don't really care what's happening with this. The game was so bad, no one actually looked into it. Highquad, the free-to-play PvP raid shooter, announced at the Game Awards last year, and released to preemptive. Oh Jesus Christ! I never have seen this word actually before. Holy criticism and mockery, only for most of its developers to be laid off just weeks after launch, was apparently financially backed by Tencent, according to a report. I trust this report full-heartedly, by the way. And you know what's my favorite part about Highquad? It's the lies. It is the absolute amount of lies that the studio itself said. And that's where I thought that, oh yeah, this has absolutely no future. They're lying about a lot. Did you know that, why would you fire your developers? Highquad CEO, the company's CEO, officially stated that they have, like, why am I even wearing headphones, honestly? That does not make sense. There's no audio anywhere. Anyway, the CEO himself announced that they have a year's worth of content ready to go for Highquad. So why the hell would you be firing staff? Not really sure, but in any case, they did. This comes from a GameFile, which reports that the Chinese gaming mogul was primary financier backing behind developers Wildlight Entertainment. That's the company that made this. An arrangement that was not publicly shared by either company. There is, by the way, no obligation to publicly share these things. Literally zero. It's completely legal to hide it, and it's completely legal to lie about the fact that you're, for example, in the indie company. A lot of people don't understand these things in the business, but yeah, these companies have absolutely no obligation in most situations to be truthful to the people. Now, because the worst they're risking there is like, well, actually, the worst they're risking is a mass action lawsuit, which is problematic, but kind of easy to avoid if you're not being super stupid. And other than that, there's literally nothing. They're not breaking any rules. They're not breaking any regulations. They're just lying about stuff that they can lie. And all of that can also be said in the benefit of the investors, which makes it even better. Prior to this report, it was unclear who was funding Wildlight, despite High seemingly being in development for a number of years prior to its announcement at the Game Awards in December. Its official LinkedIn page has long indicated the line that Wildlight is a new, fully funded entertainment studio. Yeah. Again, I never asked these questions because, like, again, none of us cared. Let's be real. None of us really cared. Also, if you're wondering, Tencent probably has financial backing for a lot of things. And again, this is one of the things I constantly talk about Ubisoft. Do not buy this narrative that Tencent is out to take control of gaming studios. That has never been their objective. They just invest in studios that they think are gonna make money, and then they literally do nothing. They don't interfere. They are in Path of Exile. They are in so many games. They have invested in so many games, and they do not do any interference with them. They just invest the money and expect the game to do good, so they get the recuperation on investment. Tencent is one of the most best companies when it comes to investment because it just lets companies do what they are already doing. Because they understand the simple logic of, hey, that thing is currently doing really well and it looks like it's going to do well in the future. I'm going to invest in it and I'm not going to fuck that up. I'm not going to go in and be like, we can do even better. Which a lot of Western companies actually are kind of doing with their investments. They go in and they're like, okay, you're doing good. Time to screw all of that up. Tencent does not do that. That's why they're one of the biggest. And that's why the Ubisoft situation is so special. Because again, I still don't believe that Tencent is trying to take over Ubisoft. Now they may do it because they want they probably want to get rid of a couple of IPs or something, because they have lost so much money on Ubisoft at this point. It's ridiculous. They invested when Ubisoft shares were between $20 and $10. Now Ubisoft is a penny stock at this point, almost. So, yeah, needless to say, they have lost 95% of their investment. They're probably not happy considering that this is a company that invests literal billions sometimes. In any case, moving on. That grand announcement, its time and place instigated by the Game Awards host Jeff Keighley, rather than the studio, spawned weeks of mockery online, which was rightful, with a number of content creators declaring, me amongst them, the game that declaring the game dead before it had even released. Am I the only one who would never structure a sentence like this? I swear to fucking God, this has to be some kind of mental sickness. Every time I read an IGN article, and it's like, I feel that it's written in a way that I would never speak. It really feels like some kind of NPC has written this shit. Now, granted, does IGN use AI? Yes, but AI, when I read it, it's normal and understandable, but the sentencing just seems so fucking off. But even PC Gamer doesn't do it like this. It's so annoying. I actually hate reading IGN articles because of this. Upon launch, High netted nearly 100 game Steam concurrents, with critical reviews including ours, wow, what a hero, were just so-so. Yes, Critical review calling High Quad probably an IGN 7 out of 10. Oh boy, what a hero, IGN. You probably named it a 7. And users scored were low. Just a few weeks later, developers from Wildlight revealed that most of them had been laid off, based good and true. Since then, one developer who worked on the game has reflected on High was turned into a joke from minute one. We read that one, and that was hilarious due to false assumptions. False assumptions? Are you kidding me? None of our assumptions were false. In fact, our assumptions were actually very, very nice. Because the reality turned out to be so unbelievably more painful. Our assumptions, like we did not know about the about the pre-planning stage. We did not know about the fucking mining. We did not know about the map being that large and useless. We knew none of these things. If we would have known this, we would have mocked you even harder. Okay. So the reality is, we were too nice to you, if anything. And a number of other high-profile developers have come to its defense. It remains unclear how heavily reliant Wildlight was on Tencent. Probably 100% if they're shutting down now. Because Tencent in these deals is going to be like, reception bad, our money gone. Because Tencent does not fuck around with this, okay? Tencent will try and destroy Western companies when it sees the opportunity, because again, Tencent is just a governmental hand of China at the end of the day. It's fully obviously operated by the CCP in the background. So they will kill game studios. I actually covered that like a couple of months ago when Tencent literally just destroyed a couple of Western studios because they could, which was funny. Because again, the people on the West never learn anything about China, okay? China's gonna steal your shit and cheat you. That's what's gonna happen. If you trust China for your well-being, you already failed, buddy. It is what it is. Or whatever this or vet is that a bird? Or vetter? Or vetter? A decision to pull founding was made at some point that led to the mass layoffs. This is how, by the way, this most likely works. You have a contract between Tencent and the developer, and the contract specifies something about underperforming, and if they do, that Tencent just snaps their fingers and is out. And these companies never actually think that they're gonna do it. They never think that Tencent is just gonna back out. They expect the typical Western slop of, oh, we lost 10 million? Well, how about losing 100 million more? No, Tencent is not going to do that. They're going to lose 2 million and they're going to be like, yeah, we're not losing 3 million. Wildlight's future as a studio also remains unclear, with the studio statement saying that it would retain a core group of developers. Yeah, these people are also going to get fired with time to keep High Quad going. Since the website is offline, I think it's online now. I don't even believe this. They're just gonna get a little bit of money as they like. The High Quad player base has already collapsed to nothing. However, the game's website went offline earlier today and has yet to be restored, leading to some speculation that the game or even the studio is about to fully shut down. That's not a speculation, that is a fact, that the studio is gonna shut down. Anyway, that was IGN's garbagely written article. High got bad. Tencent, as always, making things funny. Bye!